Well, hello everybody, it's Dr. Karma Bryan, and this is Car Chronicles. You guys ready? Let's do this. So I just recently had someone to respond to one of my viewers on, I think it was on YouTube. And they were talking about, well, the person, one of the viewers were talking about how they were abused by their parents, narcissistic parents. Basically, they were tormented. They were, and it really broke them mentally and broke them. And so the person that responded to them made a comment that I don't condone, so of course I deleted it, but I don't condone because that's not how I teach. What they were saying is number one, you have to remember you only have one mother and one father, and when they're gone, you'll never get them back. So regardless whether or not they are abusing you or not, basically they were telling them that you got to figure out a way to make it work. Okay. I don't teach that. And I disagree with that. Number one, yes, you only have one mother and one father. That is true. And I do believe in honoring, respecting your parents, even if they are narcissists. That does not mean that you have to actively be involved with them, because you can love someone at a distance. But if these are the people that are the culprits, so if your parents have been the tormentors, if your parents have been the culprits behind your abuse, and there have been people that have some horrific stories of not just physical abuse and torment and torture and sexual abuse, CPS being called, and then people were telling them, and I spoke to another young lady, and she says, would you please add that onto your video, put that into your video, is that while she's being taken out of the home of a drug addicted mother who is also a narcissist and a severe abuser, and the child has been neglected and rejected, living in pure filth, no food in the house, the mother abusive, verbally abusive, and she's being told, but your mother loves you so much. Your mother loves you so much. Then I think it's time for us to go back and redefine what love is. Because first of all, love is not an emotion. What is love? So you mean to tell me that, living in pure filth with no food, child is not protected, has to fend for themselves, you're hurling insults, you're cussing them out, you're telling them that they're not about anything, they're a piece of crap at the bottom of your shoe, and you mean to tell me that is called love? That's not love. And then when you get older and you begin to heal and you begin to realize the abuse that you have been through, people go through different stages of grief, and especially the shock of realizing that your parent or parents were narcissists, and that what they considered love was not love whatsoever. And that a lot of things that they were saying to you, but your parents love you very much, but your mother loves you very much. First of all, that's a lie. That's not love. If that's love, we need to go back and do some serious redefining that word. And for someone to tell you that regardless whether you are being abused or not, you should stay in the situation and somehow figure out how to make it work, that is an incorrect statement. That just repulsed me, because that is not what I teach. And the reason why I'm so repulsed at that is because as a therapist, and having done this for years and hearing some of the stories of what has happened to people when they have been abused by their parents, some of the things that is happening, not sex trafficking. One lady years ago told me that her mother hit her so hard on top of the head, it cracked her skull. And she wouldn't even take her to get medical attention. She has traumatic brain injury till this day. All sorts of mood disorders. This lady, I think I had to refer her to inpatient treatment. That's how bad it was, where she dissociated. That's how bad it was. Another lady came in, and that was the first time I ever witnessed this dissociative identity disorder. And it was so distinctive that there were different voices. It seemed like the face was shape shifting. And I'm talking to my supervisor, and my supervisor looking at me like, you saw it too? And it's horrific. People don't really understand what narcissist abuse really is. And when I say what narcissist abuse really is, what I'm saying is some people are looking at maybe narcissistic behavior. Maybe they're looking at, people that have narcissistic traits, people that are dysfunctional on the low end of the narcissist spectrum, where it's non-clinical. It's not a diagnosis. It's just a behavior. They're immature. They are, they're immature. They'll never grow up. They hurl insults. They're a mess. But I'm talking about people that actually have narcissistic personality disorder that's leaning over towards psychopathy, where they're literally almost psychopathic. These people, and some of the things that I have witnessed in therapy, I would never tell a person, listen, if that is the source of your pain, sometimes you have to forgive a person in your mind to set your own self free. I forgive this person, but I will never have another relationship with this person. I love this person, or I may love my parents, but I just don't see me having a relationship with my parent. I'm going to love them from a distance. I respect them. If anything happens, I'll make sure to, if I can get medical attention to them. But there's not times where you don't tell someone, regardless whether you're being abused, you try to make it work whatever way you possibly can. It's like being in a romantic relationship. And most of us, women and men, and a lot of times it's women, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to do whatever I can to make my marriage work. Well, that's one-sided relationship. It takes two people to make a relationship work. Just like in parenting, a parent has to parent. A parent has to love a child. They're setting an example, and a child does not, regardless of what people tell you, when they say that if a child is being abused, they're not going to want to be with the abuser, that's actually incorrect, because children who are being abused by an abusive parent still want to be with that parent because they love the parent. They're trauma bonded to the parent. But don't go by this advice. When you see this, sometimes people are saying stuff and they don't even know what they're saying. And it makes me think, have you really been through narcissist abuse? Have you really been tormented? Have you really? That's just like I was having a conversation with a person the other day. And I said, when we're talking to each other about, people that you're dating, you're married to someone, and you know how we give advice, girl, first of all, you don't need to be treated that way. You have more value than that. And if he's putting his hands on you and he's doing this, you deserve better. You need to put up some boundaries and make sure you have a safety plan in place. And, you need to make sure and get into some help. Or even talking to a guy, listen, if she's doing this to you, because men get abused too, listen, that's not considered love. I know you love your children, but you can still raise your children, outside of the home. And I know for some men it's hard because that woman is going to make it very complicated for you to parent. Laws are changing. We have to go and get a good lawyer. Laws are changing. But at the same time, I know that women will make it equally as frustrating and as hard as they can possibly make it when it comes to a father trying to be a father to his children, especially when you're dealing with a narcissistic mother. Meaning that for some men, they do stay in the situationship because of the fact that they love their children. They want to be with their children, and they're actually waiting for the kids to leave home so they can leave home. But how damaged are you becoming, male and female alike? How damaged are you becoming by staying in that situation? So it's okay for us to tell people, girl, you need to get out that relationship, or, you don't need to be in there. You need to be treated better than that. And, there's domestic violence help. And if he puts his hands on you, but you mean to tell me that in that same sentence, you can say, but because it's your parents, that's a different story. So those rules don't apply to your parents, so those rules don't apply. Yeah, you have to get out the situationship with that man or that woman because they're abusive, and the things that they're doing is exactly the same things that your parents are doing, but those are your parents. That's totally different. Blood is thicker than water. Show me. So people, please do not get on people's channel and start giving them some unsolicited advice, because you have no idea who you're giving advice to, and you have no idea what type of situation that person is in, when they're posting what they're, sorry, you guys, my watch, but you don't know what type of situation these people are in when they're posting what they're posting for everybody to read. And it's kind of ignorant to go and just make a comment. You have no clue, what this person is going through. And then for you to make a comment like that comment right there lets me know you haven't really gone through no trauma like that. You don't know what some of these parents have done to their children. And I'm telling you, I have heard some horrific stories. And when I'm saying horrific stories, child trafficking, prostitution from the home, sexual molestation, abuse, sexual assault, leaving children, to teach them a lesson, leaving them on the side of the highway, to teach them a lesson and come back and getting them later. A child, a child. How do you leave a child on the side of the road to teach them a lesson, and you come back and get them just to teach them a lesson? What do the young people say? Where they do that at? So please, don't give unsolicited advice like that. You don't know what these people have been through. And no, if they're the culprits, you have the right to leave and cut them off.